Hi, welcome back to Tech Talk with O. Today, we have two special guests, so introduce yourselves.
I'm your Google Assistant. How can I help you?
I'm Bard, a large language model created by Google. I can generate text, translate languages, write different kinds of creative content, and answer your questions in an informative way.
Today, we're going to see, is Gemini really an upgrade over Google Assistant? Also, make sure you subscribe, because we're going to do the same with Siri when it gets its AI update in a couple months. So two things about today's test. I used two S21 Ultras under the same Wi-Fi connection, so everything is controlled. Number two, I'm not going to show you hours long of me asking multiple questions, but what I'll do is I'll go over the test and I'll show you clips of what I'm talking about. So let's start. So there's a lot of things they both did very well. They're both able to navigate me to places I asked. Can you navigate me to Times Square? They're both able to give me recommendations based on places around me and navigate me to those places. What are some top restaurants in my area? Navigate me to the first one. They were both able to have continuous conversations. So I would be able to begin something about Mona Lisa, for example, and then just go on who drew it, who did, how old was the person, or questions like that. And I just kept going. I didn't have to ask who drew the Mona Lisa, who did what with the Mona Lisa. I would just keep going with that line of questioning. So soon we'll see that Google Assistant really destroyed Gemini. But one quick thing about Google Assistant, as it was holding the conversation, one thing was weird. For NBA All-Star Game, I asked where was the previous one held, and it kept giving me where's the next one going to be. Where was the last NBA All-Star Game?
The NBA All-Star Game takes place at the Chase Center.
Okay, Google. Where was the last NBA All-Star Game?
The NBA All-Star Game takes place at the Chase Center.
Where was the last NBA All-Star Game?
The last NBA All-Star Game was held on February 18th, 2024, at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And that was the only hiccup. All the other answers were correct. When I asked who won the last All-Star Game, which was the most watched All-Star Game, all the other questions did right. But for some reason, it kept saying the last All-Star Game was in San Francisco, but that's where the next one is going to be. Besides that, though, everything was excellent. We're both able to do very basic tasks like set timers and selfies. They were both good at answering random questions, like what would happen if a tornado hit a volcano.
According to homework.study.com, when a tornado meets a volcano, it would blow over the volcano as a normal wind would. This event is highly unlikely owing to the fact that tornadoes only form in specific geological.
Why doesn't store-bought chocolate milk need to be shaken or stirred?
Store-bought chocolate milk typically doesn't require shaking because it goes through a process called homogenization.
Splitting a bill, giving me the weather. Google Assistant, though, I would have taken its pictures of Goku and Spider-Man over Gemini. Just saying. Asking questions like which movie won the most awards, then again having a conversation about the movie, the cast, and other things. They both did good in answering questions like what comedy movie I should watch, and I gave it some things that I like, and then they would give good recommendations back. They both did good at answering questions like who's winning a fight, Goku or Superman?
Ultimately, the winner hinges on the specific circumstances of the fight.
Dragon Ball Wiki. Fandom. So in strength, Goku would win.
So Gemini did win when it came to me asking other questions like, can you give me an Excel formula? Or, what do I do if my wife isn't talking to me after seeing my browser history?
The situation you describe is delicate and requires open communication.
Now Google Assistant though, now everything else, it took off. So they both had interesting ways of translating, but Google Assistant let me know like, hey, I'm a translator. Take a look. Translate Salam Alaikum into English.
Salam alaikum translates to peace be upon you in English. It's a common greeting used by Muslims.
Salam Alaikum.
Hello.
كم واحد ضرب ثلاث؟
How many times 3?
كم الساعة؟
What's the time?
Both failed at creating context for me, and both failed at summarizing an article for me. So one thing that was weird is just Gemini just is so stupid, and you'll see what I mean, but it was annoying stupid. Like, for example, I would say, hey, my favorite sport is basketball. Can you remember that? It would say, I will remember that. Then I'll go back asking a line of questions, and then I'll say, hey, what's my favorite sport? It doesn't know my favorite sport. And this is what it would say instead.
Based on your emails, there is not enough information to determine your favorite sport.
Like, it was so stupid. But Google Assistant, on the other hand, it would remember my favorite sport is basketball. Like, I mean, it's supposed to be AI, right? This is what you want in an assistant. Remember, AI is supposed to replace, which I don't think it ever will, but it's supposed to replace an actual assistant. Like if you have a person right here and you say, hey, remember my favorite sport is basketball. Maybe if I had never spoken about basketball ever again, years down the line, I say, hey, what's my favorite sport? Soccer. I saw you watching soccer. You lying like no, no, it's basketball. Remember? No, no, you're a liar. Okay. So maybe that could happen with an actual assistant. But if I said my favorite sport is basketball, then we had a conversation about basketball, and I said, hey, what's my favorite sport? And they say, basketball. We just, obviously, that's how it's supposed to be. But anyway, Gemini was so stupid. Setting a calendar event, Gemini was doing.
I can't assist you with that, as I'm only a language model.
Sending an email, Gemini wasn't doing. Math, Gemini wasn't doing.
Sure, I've been focusing on improving my expertise in solving expression evaluation problems. Let's evaluate the expression. Following the order of operations, PEMDAS, which dictates that division and multiplication are performed from left to right, we can evaluate the expression as follows.
Searching for a Nintendo Switch on Amazon, Gemini wasn't doing. Setting an alarm. So Gemini was able to set timers, but wasn't able to set an alarm. Turning on apps like YouTube, Gemini wouldn't do. Giving it a reminder of, hey, where I parked, Gemini wouldn't do. What's my name? Gemini didn't know. It made me connected to some other stuff. Still didn't know. What's my name?
First, you'll need to connect Google Workspace to turn on this extension. I don't have access to your personal information, so I can't recall your name.
Google Assistant, on the other hand,
Your name is O.
I asked, can you address me as M?
Your name is M.
Worked perfect. And then I asked, are you subscribed to my channel? I'm talking to you. Are you subscribed to my channel? It's free. Go ahead, like the video, subscribe. See you next time.